guys, what's up? So I thought it'd be good to talk to you guys about the books that I read within 2010 to 2019. Since it's 2020 now, we are in a whole new decade. So I really wanted to rank my top 5 books that were published and read within that span of a decade. These are some of my favorite books of all time. The first book that made a super big impact on me when I read it back in 2015 is Shine by Lauren Miracle. This was published in 2011, so at the beginning of the decade. This book is about a hate crime that takes place to this girl's best friend, well, used to be best friend, and she tries to figure out what exactly happened and why the police aren't really caring about it. And this is gonna have to be a reread because I read it so long ago. I remember a lot of it, but I just know how it made me feel. Like, I remember how it made me feel. I cried in this. I do remember that. This book just created a safe space, and although it does involve a hate crime, it shows that there are people out there that are willing to fight for people who are minorities. And so I just think Lauren Miracle did amazing with this book. I've only read one other of her books, and it was Let It Snow with John Green and Maureen Johnson. That one was okay book, but this one really made an impact. The next book was also published in 2011, but I read it in 2016. I also reread it, I think, the year after, and maybe even in 2018. This book is written in verse and is about the Titanic. It is called The Watch That Ends the Night by Alan Wolfe. This is a fantastic book. It's very quick to read since it is in verse. It's sad. It's wonderful. I'm a huge Titanic fan, and when I first read this, I had just written a conspiracy theory paper for one of my classes about the Titanic, but this just takes you an inside look into not what actually happened, because it is historical fiction, but the different people that might have been aboard, and some of them are the real people. Not written, obviously, but they are supposed to be the real people who were on board of the Titanic. So my next favorite book of the decade is a book that came out in 2014. I read it in 2015 and fell in love with it. And it is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I can't tell you much about this book. I recently got a copy and it makes me so happy. But I can't tell you much about this book because it is something that you just have to experience for yourself. Even the synopsis doesn't tell you what the hell's going on. Basically, all I can tell you is that this is about a family that has a house on this island, and they go there pretty much every summer, and it is just an actual masterpiece. I bawled. I literally bawled in this one. Like, it is just the most fantastic read you can ask for. Plus it's really short. It's they're super short chapters, so it makes you feel like it's going faster too. And something that you can read just like that, like one sitting. So the next book is a book that was published in 2012 and that I picked up in 2016. I was not expecting this to be a favorite book. I found the idea of it very interesting, and so I picked it up, and it is Nerve by Jean Ryan. And this is a book about a game, like it's almost like an app, and you basically it's a truth or dare. People will give you dares to do, and they will give you money for it. And it gets crazy. It's absolutely unbelievably crazy, everything that happens in this book. I do think you should read the book instead of watching the movie. I did enjoy the movie, but I think the book just has so much more to it. It's much more detailed, and it just makes your mind go to different places. The movie is just kind of Yeah, that's what you'd expect them to think. How to create it. But it's just a kind of a different world within the book. And then the final book that is on this list is something that was published in 2016, but that I picked up in 2018. And it is The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. I knew going into this that I was going to love it. I love contemporary reads that talk about sexual assault. It just kind of, it makes me happy that people are, not happy that it happened, but that people are talking about it. And I think contemporaries are really good ones to talk about it. And you just want so much for Eden, and it just pains you. This was a very, very fast read for me because I could not put it down because I just needed to have closure. It's a sad read, I will tell you that. So if you don't like sad books, don't pick it up. This book is just so powerful, and like if you love contemporary books, this is definitely one that you should pick up. Eden is such a likable character. You just want her to feel good about herself again, and it's so impactful. So those are my top 5 books of the decade, and I'm so excited to see what the next decade has for me to read, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching!